Hi everybody, and welcome to my review of Season 4, Episode 14 of Little Women Atlanta. If you have not seen this episode yet, this video will act like a spoiler, so you might want to watch this video later. And also, I apologize for posting this video so late, things come up, I work, I sometimes get called into work. Of course, I get tired from work, I get lazy, and I can be a procrastinator, so I am sorry, I'm sorry. I assume that no one's going to watch this because this episode is from weeks ago and no one cares and the season's over, so enjoy if you're watching. Okay, the name of this episode is X and the City. Tanya is shown in her yard doing yoga. Devon goes outside with her. He gives her a glass of water. Then he sits down. Tanya says that she's been wanting to talk to Devon about the conversation that they had regarding Devon having intentions to propose to her and then not wanting to. Devon says it was not his intention to hurt Tanya's feelings. Tanya says she had been feeling really emotional about it, and when Devon invited her dad down to Atlanta, she thought it was really nice because she hasn't seen him in a while. She said she was thinking about planning a trip to New York to see her father again, to clear her head and get away from it all. Devon says they should be able to come to each other and express themselves and not run away. Tanya says she likes to have time to herself away from what's bothering her. In the commentary, Tanya says she's not looking at that trip as a way of getting away from their problems, but it's just the opposite of that. She just needs clarity, and hopefully it will help her figure out what she needs with her relationship with Devon. Devon says for Tanya wanting to leave is crazy. She says she's a little hurt and she just needs a little time by herself. In the next scene, Andrea goes to the doctor with her boyfriend Chris. In the commentary, Andrea says her contractions have stopped, but she's having other problems, such as swelling, trouble breathing, and pain in her belly. Even though Chris is stepping up to the plate and helping with Aubrey more, she's still not sure she's ready to have another baby. The doctor meets Andrea, and he checks the baby's heartbeat and measures her belly. He says her stomach is 29 centimeters. He says he thinks everything is going to be okay with the baby. Tanya, Sam, Juicy, Money, and Tanya's friend Abira take a trip to New York, and they go to their hotel room. Later on, the ladies get dressed and go out for drinks. Tanya says another reason why she went to New York is so that she could see her dad. She says that the group will also be meeting Sam's parents while they're there. Sam says there's a guy that she's been seeing, Michael, and there is a chance that he might be showing up to that dinner. She says that her parents haven't met him either. She says that they FaceTime 2 to 3 times a week. Sam says that she's nervous because she hasn't seen him in a while, but she's excited to see how things go. Abira says that she has a gig in New York and she wants them to go see her. The gig is at the Show Palace, which is a strip club. Then Juicy comes back from the bathroom after Abira tells the ladies about her strip club gig, and then Abira decides to tell Juicy about the gig, and Juicy is surprised. In the commentary, Juicy says that they've been through that before. Then she asks Abira why would she do something so careless when it comes to her career. Abira says that she won't have on a stripper outfit and she'll be performing as Fire, which is her stripper name. In the commentary, Juicy says that she's not happy about that. She's managing Little V, the rapper, not Fire, the stripper. But if she's performing as Little V, she's going to let that slide. The ladies go on a sightseeing tour bus. They see some New York landmarks such as the Empire State Building and Times Square. Then Tanya notices that Sam is texting her man, Michael. The ladies kind of tease her about that. And then they stop at the Metropolitan Museum. They have someone take a picture of them. And then Juicy pulls Abira aside to talk about her gig. Juicy says that Abira told her nothing about the gig. Abira says she didn't feel the need to tell Juicy because she didn't have anything to do with it. She asks Abira, as her manager, if that's something that she should inform her about. Abira says that Juicy should be informing her about a gig that she's trying to get her. Juicy says that's fine. Abira says that she shouldn't be booking her own gigs in the future. Juicy says that there will be opportunities that she'll have to book. Abira talks while Juicy is talking. Then Juicy asks Abira if she's going to let her talk or not. Abira says that Juicy is saying a bunch of nothing and she's not trying to hear that. Juicy says Abira will be able to book her own stuff and there's nothing wrong with that, but she should always let someone know. Abira tells Juicy that she's welcome to come to her gig or not. Then Abira walks away. Later on, the ladies go out to a restaurant. They all meet Tanya's dad and Sam's parents, Juan and Maria. Before they go into the restaurant, Tanya pulls her dad aside to talk. She tells him that Devon says that he doesn't want to get married anymore. Guy is shocked because Devon talked about proposing, and he went with him to pick out a ring. Tanya says that makes her question what she and Devon are doing with their relationship since they're not getting married. Guy mentions how Tanya and Vaughn have been together for a while. Tanya wonders if Devon is taking her seriously. Tanya's dad says that that's another thing to consider, and it's not a joke, and you can't play with someone's feelings and emotions. Guy tells Tanya that it's going to be alright, to take it one day at a time, and he's there for her. Inside the restaurant, Juicy asks Sam when they are going to meet her dude. Sam says that she texted him, but he didn't text back. Sam's mother, Maria, says that she can't wait to meet him. Then a little bit of time passes, and Sam's dude, Michael, does not show up. In the commentary, Sam says that Michael had one job, and it was to be at the restaurant, and she says that he had better have a good explanation. Sam's mom says that it's been an hour, and she asks Sam if she's going to call him. Sam said that she's going to call him. She goes outside and makes the phone call. She asks Michael where he is. Michael says that he had to go to work. She asks Michael if he knows how embarrassing that is to her, and she says that her mom, dad, and all of her friends are there. Sam says that that's exactly why she doesn't date. She asks him again if he's not coming. Michael says no. Sam tells Michael that she doesn't feel like talking to him at that moment. She ends the phone call with him and she begins to cry. She pulls herself together and then goes back into the restaurant. Sam tells everyone that she doesn't think that he's coming. She tells them that they're just going to go on about the rest of their night and just have a good time. Sam's dad gives her a kiss. Abira tells Sam that they love her and it was courageous of her to invite them out that night. Sam thanks everyone for coming, and Abira tells Sam that she's beautiful. Back in Atlanta, Amanda meets up with Minnie. Minnie asks Amanda if Andrea is thinking about putting her baby up for adoption. Amanda says Andrea has been thinking about it, but she's not sure what she wants to do. She said that she hopes that she doesn't give the baby to her parents, because her sister needs to take responsibility of her kids. Yes. She mentions how Andrea is worried about whether Chris is going to stay or not, and brings up how people change and they can go back to their old ways. She says that she thinks that her sister has so much on her mind and she just doesn't know what to do. Minnie says that the baby could arrive any day. In the commentary, Amanda says that she hopes her sister makes the right decision when it comes to her baby. She sees how much she misses Aubrey, and she's afraid if she lets her parents adopt her baby, she's going to regret it. Back in New York, Sam meets up with Michael. She asks him why he didn't show up. Michael says that he got called into work. He also says that he was too nervous and he was too scared to show up with everyone being there. Wait, he just gave her two reasons. He had to go to work and he was nervous. Which one is it? Did you purposely call into work and ask them if they needed somebody, or did you just stay home because you were nervous? In the commentary, Sam says that she kind of is in the blame in that situation too. Rushing Michael to meet her friends and family was probably not the best idea, but he could have told her that instead of standing her up. Michael says he's sorry and he'll make up for it. Sam asks Michael if he wants to be with her and if he'll show up next time. Michael says yes, and he says that that will not happen again. He asks Sam if they're good. Sam tells him yes. Then the two share a kiss. In the next scene, the ladies are at the strip club where Abira will be performing. Juicy decided to show up because she's Abira's manager. Then Abira comes out, and she dances on the pole and starts twerking, and people throw money at her. To be honest, I thought she looked a hot mess up there. And then Juicy noticed that when Abira was introduced, they introduced her as Little V and not Fire. In the commentary, Juicy says that that is not a legitimate gig, and she looks like a fool up there on stage. And thank goodness there are only 20 people there. After Abira is done performing, Juicy pulls her aside to talk. Juicy says that Abira did a good job on stage, but she's concerned. She says that they introduced Abira as Fire, aka Little V. Abira says she thinks they announced it like that because she was there to dance, but she's trying to get Little V out there since no one else is doing it. Juicy asks Abira what does she mean by no one else is doing it. Abira says since Juicy isn't doing it, she's going to do what she has to do and securing a bag no matter what name she does it under. Juicy says that she's trying to be patient with Abira. Abira tells Juicy that she's been patient with her. Juicy tells Abira that she needs to decide what she wants to do, and it sounds to her that Abira wants to be her own manager and doesn't need her. Then Abira says that boss will help other boss. Juicy says that she's done and tells Abira, well, this boss doesn't have anything to do with you. Abira tells Juicy that she hired her and she's done with her. Abira just doesn't get it. Ms.Juicy is trying to help her with her career, be a good manager, and she's right. That strip club gig was not a legitimate gig. She looked like a fool up there, I swear. And I've said this many, many times, that being a stripper is like bad for her reputation, you know? But all this stripping is what made her famous, unfortunately. The next morning, Abira and Tanya have a talk. Juicy and Money have a talk also, but in a separate room. Juicy says Abira's gig was a bit much for her. She says that they went there to support Fire, but there's a difference between Fire and Little V. Abira tells Tanya that Juicy doesn't understand where she is in her career and what she wants to do. She says she doesn't need anyone nagging her all the time. And it's like speaking to a wall, and she says that Juicy is self-centered and wants her to do stuff for her. Juicy tells Money that she's looking at Abira's career in the long run and not at the moment. Yes, oh my gosh, Ms.Juicy said it, because doing all this stripping and exotic stuff could really haunt her, you know, in the future as far as her entertainment career, you know? You know, to be honest, I have a feeling that Abira will be in the show next season. And you know, when you get on these reality shows, you know, the world becomes your oyster. Well, the world already is your oyster, but the world becomes your oyster a little more because, you know, you're already in showbiz. You got to have those connections. And Abira could be excluded from some certain opportunities because, you know, they don't want a stripper, you know, to have anything to do with their show or their brand or whatever. So, you know, Ms.Juicy is right. Ms.Juicy is a wise woman. She really is. She's the oldest out of the group. She is wise. Abira tells Tanya that Juicy is supposed to be managing her career and not her life. Juicy says that Abira is so stubborn and big-headed where she won't listen to anyone. And she can't work with anybody like that. Abira says that she's over it, and she ended up firing Juicy. Juicy says that she fired Abira because she doesn't have time for it, and says that Abira is too immature and she needs to grow up. She says Abira needs to find someone else to manage that career, and she doesn't want anything to do with dancers. Let me improvise a little bit more on that. I think Juicy was doing the right thing by firing Abira, and she's doing the right thing by protecting her brand, by not having anything to do with managing strippers. And Abira just doesn't understand that Juicy's trying to help her with her career and image. But sadly, she just doesn't get it, and she will continue to objectify herself for money. In Atlanta, Andrea is shown at home in her bed, and she is uncomfortable. Chris asks her if she's okay. Andrea says that she's having a hard time breathing. Andrea calls her nurse. She tells the nurse that she's been having contractions, cramping, and her heart feels like it's beating really fast. The nurse tells Andrea to go to the hospital immediately. Chris helps Andrea into the car, and he drives her to the hospital. Andrea calls Amanda and tells her to head to the hospital to see her. Back in New York, the ladies have dinner on a rooftop deck, I guess you would call it, for their last night in New York. Abira asks Tanya if she wants to be with Devon. Tanya says that she doesn't know. Money asks Tanya if she and Devon are good. In the commentary, Tanya says that she has a lot to think about with their future with Devon. With 3 kids in the mix, and 2 of them being Nico's, it's just hard for her to juggle it all sometimes. Juicy asks Tanya if Nico will always have a place in her heart. Tanya says she doesn't know, and she's confused. He was her best friend, and now she can't even look at him or talk to him. Abira asks Tanya if she wants to be with Nico. Tanya says she doesn't know. Then, the ladies have some drinks and turn up for their last night in New York. And then, speaking of the devil, Nico shows up where all of the ladies are, to everyone's surprise. He says hi to everybody. Tanya asks Nico what he's doing there. Nico tells Tanya that he wanted to talk to her about some things. The two sit down and talk, far away from the ladies. He says that he wanted to talk to Tanya about some things that he's been hearing. He brings up how Tanya and Devon decided not to move forward with their marriage. He says that he was just thinking that is a great thing. What the heck is the point of this? Y'all aren't... Let me save it for the end. Tanya says that she and Devon are not getting married, and that's that. Nico asks if it has anything to do with him. Tanya says, no. Nico asks if she's sure. In the commentary, Tanya says that trip was supposed to be for her to clear her mind about her situation with Devon. And now Nico wants to pop up. Nico says that Tanya could try to make it seem like she doesn't like being around him, or like she doesn't know how to be his friend. He says that the simple fact is that Tanya still loves him. He says it's in her body language, and even if she were to marry Devon, she would still have love for him that she can't escape. And that's all he's trying to say. Tanya tells Nico that she can't trust him with her heart as a friend anymore. She says that she's learned a lot, and she's a whole other person. Nico asks Tanya if she's making it sound like he's not good for her. Tanya says that they're not good for each other, except for hurting each other in the end. Tanya says that it's hard to be around Nico because he was her best friend and she trusted him more than she trusted any man in her life. And what happened between them messed her up. Nico tells Tanya that she hurt him before, during, and even at that moment. Nico says that it sucks a lot. Then Tanya walks away and starts crying. Tanya goes near the ladies and Sam comforts her. Money, Abira, and Juicy go near Nico and ask him what happened. Nico tells the ladies that marrying Devon isn't a good idea, and she makes it seem like everything is about the kids, but the fact of the matter is, Tanya still loves him. I just know that this is staged. I just know the producers had Nico show up in New York, because who randomly pops up wherever their ex/baby mama is, unless they're a stalker? I'm sure it was staged. And here's a fun fact. I saw on Tanya's Instagram that she took her baby, her youngest daughter, Tahiri, with her on the trip because she had to breastfeed her. So maybe Nico was in New York, maybe he could take care of his daughter. Because Tanya also had another friend of hers who did not appear on the show at all, who was nannying Tahiri while, Tanya was filming. So that could be another reason why Nico's in New York, to see so he could spend time with his daughter. Their relationship is rocky, man. Because who just shows up and says, you still love me. Ooh, it's great that you're not getting married. Ooh, that's just great. And 1 week later, everyone is back in Atlanta, and all of the ladies and their dates, except Moreland, who's probably working, are at Juicy's new house. Then Andrea and Chris come in with their newborn daughter, who has been named Anaya. Anaya was born at 4 pounds and 12 ounces. She is tiny, but healthy. Then everyone sits down, they're talking about kids and stuff and whatnot. And then somewhere in the conversation, you get to Andrea, and Andrea says that she got her tubes tied. Yes, it's a good decision that she made. I don't think she would have been able to handle any more kids. Yep, their family is complete. Then after that, Andrea and Amanda, go aside, they have refreshments over there. They're all like, oh, did you try the meatballs? Blah, blah, blah. Small talk. And then Amanda asks Andrea what she wants to do regarding her new baby. Andrea says that she doesn't know. And since this is the season finale, all of the ladies say something about themselves. Amanda said that those past couple of months were a roller coaster. Andrea mentions how Amanda's going to get married. And Amanda mentions how Andrea just had another baby. And things are going to change between them. Money says that married life has been quite an adventure. She and Moreland are still thinking about expanding their family, and hopefully they have some good news to share soon. Minnie says, after her health scare, life is too short to be caught up in all of the petty drama. Moving forward, she's focusing on a whole new Minnie. Which new Minnie is this? I guess this is the 4th new Minnie. She said this every season. Whatever. Tanya says that baby Tahiri has been such a blessing, but the men in her life, not so much. Tanya is taking a break from all the daddy drama so she can focus on her kids. She is still unsure on what the future holds with Devon. Sam says, in the past few months, she has overcome so much and conquered her fear of dating. And maybe she'll be the next one to get married. Sam is focusing on her cosmetology career and her long-distance relationship with Michael. She hopes to introduce him to all the girls soon, if he decides to show up. Juicy says that it's been a busy year for the queen, and it's paying off. She is at the top of her game with her new house and a growing management company. She's even considering hire a manager of her own, as long as she can still call the shots. And that's the end of the episode. So that's a wrap for Season 4. It was a short season, you know. And sadly, there will not be a reunion episode, but I think this is a good season. We got 2 new babies in one season. We've had plenty of Abira in the season, and that could make me assume that Abira is probably going to be a main cast member in Season 5. That's just a prediction of mine. Let's just wait and see. And I also predict that next season, Amanda gets married. Maybe they're going to have a special for her and Jordan's wedding. I don't have any more predictions about next season, so I guess I'll wrap this video up. I have an announcement, guys, regarding my other videos on my channel. You guys know how I make Little Women Dallas episode reviews? Well, from now on, I will not be covering every single episode, because, you know, just think it's a lot of work, you know, all the note-taking and then making these videos and rendering them and posting them, because, you know, I have a job and I don't always have time for that. And then, you know, the videos, if I did that, the videos would be posted super late, you know, after everyone is like over that episode. So I will only cover, you know, key episodes from the show from now on. So I'm sorry, but, and one more thing, I never told you guys this, but like a year ago, I created a Lifetime Little Women wiki, and it's basically a Wikipedia for all the Little Women shows. You know, you can look for you can look at episode summaries, profiles about biographies and backgrounds of cast members, guest stars and stuff. So you might want to check it out. I'm gonna put the link in the bio. Feel free to contribute to the wiki, you know, especially for the Little Women LA episodes, Little Women New York episodes, because I don't watch those. And please contribute with the episode summaries. Link in the bio if you check it out. It's a pretty fun website, you know, just a hobby of mine. I would like to thank you guys so much for watching this video, and please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Follow me on Twitter at ILUMoreThanThis. Follow me on Instagram at Taurus_charm. Subscribe to my channel. If you have subscribed, turn on my notifications. Please subscribe to my channel so I can reach 1,000 subscribers, so I can become eligible for monetization on my videos again. Feel free to check out my other videos. I make vlogs, reaction videos, you know, I'm starting to make more than just review videos, you know, so check those out. I will see you guys next time. Bye!